What's going on, football fans? It's your boys, Jonathan and JR, back again with another pound for pound ATL. Definitely not live. We'll be doing that tomorrow. But we're in the first hours of the early hours of free agency. We're just have hit the legal tampering period. We're getting like up to date contract information, and I just felt like the Falcons were making moves that we couldn't just wait till tomorrow to talk about. You know, I
Yeah.
wanted to at least get our initial, thoughts out there. It's about 4 o'clock, so the first 4 hours or so have passed, and the Falcons, unlike other years, because we didn't really have the money to do so, but this year we're
Mhm.
actually making some interesting moves. Started off at about 11:30 this morning, about 30 minutes before the legal tampering window opened, with a trade for Janu Smith, which
Yep.
I, for one, didn't see that coming at all. Uh,
Nope.
so that was fun. I love when the unexpected stuff pops up.
Well, yeah, and this guy when he was last with Arthur Smith, like saw some of the plays, and this guy looked real
Oh
good.
yeah,
Um, then he goes to the Patriots, kind of disappears there, especially last year. But I mean, they had a defensive coordinator as their offensive
yeah,
coordinator,
right.
so
It's hard to
uh,
judge him on that.
and his first year there with him, they had a rookie quarterback. So then again, potentially has essentially a rookie quarterback, though not quite. He's been in the weight room for a year. He's been in the system for a year. He's only got 4 games worth of experience, but that's invaluable experience going into a year two for him.
Right.
Which I expect him to be the starter. I mean, they could totally surprise us with
Oh yeah, for
something. I
sure.
don't think it's Lamar. I mean, we saw some stuff today where Lamar has basically said like, "Hey, I'll play on the tag."
Right.
So there's no rush to get anything done there. It looks like it's like, "Hey, we got a whole season to figure this out now, if need be."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's crazy because of that. I don't think you're going to see anybody do something super crazy. So I expect Ritter. Likelihood is that Ritter will be the starter come day one next year. Um, and then hopefully at 8, maybe Jalen Carter drops, and if Jalen Carter drops and we pick him at 8, you add him with the next guy,
Right.
uh, Onyemata, who was probably in my like
He was in that
he
wheelhouse.
was he was in he was the next step down from the top guys in my opinion. Um, Obviously Javon Hargrave, that dude went and got paid real good. And then so far we haven't heard anything about Draymond Jones. We haven't heard anything about Tomlinson.
No,
Those guys.
I think I saw where Jones, the Browns are like working real hard to sign Draymond Jones. Um,
Yep.
but Onyemata, I felt like we were going to come away with somebody like an Onyemata because of the
Mhm.
familiarity with Ryan Nielsen, what is expected there. So that wasn't a big surprise. A little bit north of what Spotrac had him listed. They had him listed at his fair market value of 9.9. So I think this year is like 11 million. I think next year's like 10 million or 12 million. So a little north of that, but he gets a 3 year
I saw
deal.
yeah, I saw somewhere it was like 24 and a half guaranteed over the first two
Right.
years. So it is what it is. Defensive tackle market is going through the roof.
Right.
Uh,
It really seems like this year's DT market was like last year's wide receiver market. Like all the
yep.
wide receivers were getting like paid crazy amounts of money, and it seems like this year it's the DTS. Um, so let's just like recap the whole move or all the moves, and then we can just flow back and forth on what we think about. So we started off today
Yep.
with um, trading for Janu Smith, and then
Yep.
right before the noon period hit, you got the big news that if he's not the highest, he's right at the highest. I think he's the highest um, paid guard in the NFL now. We re-upped
Yep.
or extended Chris Lindstrom 5 years, $105 million. So he's going to be your right guard for the next 6 years. Um,
Hmm.
and then we brought back Keith Smith, which is interesting. I figured this would be the first year we didn't have Keith Smith because you had Clint Radovich or whatever the fullback guy that we signed to a futures deal. Anyway, so
Hmm.
you brought back Keith Smith, you extended Lindstrom, you traded for Janu Smith, and you signed Onyemata
And Pinion.
and Pinion, and you extended Pinion or like re-upped
Yep.
Pinion. So that's your
Yep.
5 moves that the Falcons have made within the first 4 hours.
Yep.
And I think like for your initial barrage, I think that's a pretty good sign. Pretty good day. I don't know if that's where they'll end, but I'll say this, like, and I want to move into the O line next. Technically speaking, your O line hasn't gotten better yet. Yes, you
No.
extended one of your best pieces, if not your best piece, which is great. But you still got question marks at left guard. There's still potential question marks at center, and there's a huge glaring red mark or question mark at right tackle as of right now because
Hmm.
Caleb McGarry is still out there, and you're
Yep.
seeing other guys get some big numbers. Like arguably a worse right tackle in McClinchy got a pretty good. I think it was like close to 80 million from
Hmm. And Juwan Taylor got around that same number too.
right. So I can't see McGarry taking less than that unless nobody offers him anything.
Yep.
So if that's the price that they're wanting, like if that's the going rate right now, I don't know if I'm wanting to pay, have almost $200 million wrapped up in the right side of my offensive line.
Yeah. That's it's a tough situation because while right tackles are not nearly as like the
Oh snap! Oh snap!
foundational.
Per rap
What?
sheet, Jesse Bates to the Falcons. Per rap
Oh,
sheet,
really?
yeah. Per
Did
rap
you say
sheet,
per rap shit?
per rap sheet, and like it's the blue check mark. 26 seconds ago, Jesse Bates to the Falcons.
Yeah, I just saw Daniel Flick is saying
Yeah, so is
Jesse Bates is a Falcon.
dude. That's what's up right there. That's what's up right
I'm
there.
trying to find. Uh, let's see. Trying to find who's Easy Money.
Huh?
Oh, Janu Smith. Where is this?
You talking about his
I'm not
handle?
saying. I'm seeing. Well, I'm trying to find. I guess I should have clicked on the rap sheet thing.
Yeah, yeah. She like it's just source Jesse Bates to the Falcons.
4-year deal, 16,005 per year,
16 million.
fourth highest paid in NFL history.
Nice. Okay. So that's Jesse Bates now that we can add to that.
Yep,
So Jesse Bates to the Falcons. That's huge. That's
that's
the big fish
massive.
that we have been looking at and looking for most of the day today. So now you're adding Jesse Bates, David Onyemata, Janu Smith. Dude, okay, the team got better today. Like if you just
Yeah.
talk about
Overall, the team got.
yeah,
Yeah. Overall, the team got better. I still want to see what's going on the offensive
I
line.
do. Yep.
Now here's what I'll say. Jake Matthews knew he was coming back.
Yep.
And you're going all kaleidoscope on me over here. Can you see that on your end?
No, am I looking crazy?
Yeah, you're looking crazy.
Oh,
It's like super crazy pixelated and stuff.
well, hopefully,
Like you just
let's see. Here, I'll close that down. See if that helps. But on my end, I'm still looking solid. So just
okay. Okay. So but okay, so right now as it stands, here's what I think is happening with the or is where we stand with the offensive line. Offensive line, Jake Matthews.
right.
You knew he was obviously was coming back. Lindstrom, he was coming back regardless,
Yeah.
but we extended him out. We got him for another 6 years. And honestly, just from some of the stuff I read in some of the interviews and what have you, um, I think they are. I think they like Dahlman.
Yeah,
I think that they think that Dahlman is a guy that progressed really well from the beginning to the end of the season. He got better in their eyes. Um, and then so over time, I think they want to like stick with him to see if he can make another step in his second full year as a starter. You know, and so in that situation, now we're just left with left guard, right tackle.
right.
Right tackle, I think you can get somebody that is okay on the right hand side that maybe isn't that top tier guy that can do some good things with you or for you.
Hmm.
And left guard, they may be looking at, if all of their other guys are gone, if they're looking for maybe a Gonzalez or potentially Jalen Carter to fall, maybe a Tyree Wilson. If none of those guys are there, then they may say, okay, let's go get our left guard in Skaronski.
Right. Yep. You could put Skoronsky or, like, if none of those guys are there, like say they don't bring back McGarry, then there's guys like Darnell Wright, Broderick Jones, Paris Johnson
Yep.
Jr. There are guys out there that you can plug into right tackle for the next few years, and then maybe in 3 years from now, Jake's long in the tooth, so to speak, and a lot of those guys you could shift over to left tackle if need be. But yeah, I think the areas of need, especially after the Jesse Bates announcement, I think the areas of need in free agency are still like offensive lineman, edge rusher, wide receiver, and potentially running back. Because there's been things floating out that they might be interested in, like a David Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my bigger areas of need are like wide receiver and edge rusher, and then O lineman, depending
Yep.
on what happens with Caleb McGarry. So
Yep. But now with Caleb McGarry, I think we basically said here's our best offer,
yeah,
and he doesn't want to agree to it right now, which is
yeah,
fine.
no doubt,
I don't blame
yeah,
him. Like go see what you can get. If he can't get, it might be a situation where if he can't get substantially more, so maybe we offered him 14
right,
a year. That's still a little higher than what I would want to go, but I mean, again, I think the with all the new like TV deals that are going to be coming in, that cap is going to keep raising. So the deal that we make today looks a little bit overpaid. 3-4 years down the road, you're like, oh man, you guys got a great
and
deal on
that's
this guy.
that's always
You
how it
know,
goes, right?
that's always how it goes. So, I would like to be at 12, but let's say we offered him 14. Said, look, that's as high as we can go. That's our best offer. He's like, all right, let's go see what we can get in free agency. If he doesn't get 18, 19, maybe as much as 20 a year that he's wanting from someplace else, and the highest he's getting someplace else is maybe 15, 16 at the outside. Does he maybe come back and see if he can get us up to 15? I think 15 is probably the top of
Yeah,
that is the
man,
top that is the ceiling. But we can structure it in ways, we can do different things so it doesn't hurt quite as bad. But maybe he tries to come back, or maybe he comes back for a lesser deal to stay within a system he knows.
mm,
He doesn't have to relearn everything. He knows Lindstrom. Him, they've been mates on the right side of
yeah,
that line
for the past
for
what
since
four
they've been in the
years? Yeah,
league.
exactly.
Yes, since they've been in the league, so they know each other. They know, basically that from center out to the right side would be all the same guys. And so then we just got to find a guy to plug in at left guard, whether that's a later like second, third, fourth round draft pick, or maybe first round draft pick in Skaronski if they really want to, if they feel like Dahlman's going to take a step forward, Lindstrom's going to continue to be the guy, Matthews is going to be the guy that he's been for a decade now.
Right.
And then McGarry, if he's going to come back, maybe they feel like he can progress with his pass rushing and maybe not be the best pass rush or pass protector, but be better, a little bit better than he was last year, but be as good on the run side that he was this year. Then that turns into potentially a really good looking offensive line. coming into the season. And then on top of that, then you go offensive line in the first round, and there's enough. While I would love to have Jalen Carter, I still, and I'll to this day, no matter what happens, no matter where he falls, I still think he's the best player in the draft.
Right.
Period. But if either he goes before us or for whatever reason he's dropped on our board, I wouldn't agree with that. But let's say that we go offensive line in the first round, there is DT talent that will be there at 44 for us, that we can pick up, that we can add to what we already have now with great like Grady, and if Taquan comes back and continues on the progression that we were seeing, before his injury,
Right.
if we can see some more progression from him, and then you add Onyemata, and now you add like the crazy Asai,
Yeah.
Sai,
Mm-hmm.
that guy. If we can add him or just whoever else at the DT, some guy that's got some talent, then you got three what are potentially legitimate guys. You got a rookie coming in that can add talent, that can add to the rotation, so you can keep those guys fresher. You got Bates on the back end. Sounds like we probably are either going to go cornerback in the draft, or there's been some talk. I know there was a name that was floating around earlier. I can't find it right now, but there was a name.
Yeah, there was a cornerback earlier that was being floated around. Part of me wonders, like something I was alluding to on Twitter for those of y'all that follow me, with Bates having the same agent as Hayward. Like, part of me wonders if Hayward sticks around this year regardless, as like a, hey, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, in a sense. We'll keep your guy on if you can, really secure us the deal with Bates, so to speak. So, because now you have 4 guys with the same agent all in Atlanta. So now it's going to be really interesting to see if they try to bring back Isaiah Oliver or not. Because I wonder what Hayward would look like in a like nickel role, or if you go and look at New Orleans, like starting, like their most used personnel package was a 3 safety package.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, like, if they bring back Oliver, because the last few games Oliver played safety and was looking pretty good there. So yeah, there's still a lot of things up in the air, a lot of moving parts, but with the excitement and everything that's going on, I figured like we needed to like try to come together and talk about it. And obviously, we're going to spend a lot more time on it tomorrow night with our live show and breaking all this down, and we'll probably have even more by then. Somebody just said, what have I felt like? Somebody was asking me on Twitter about Bates' contract. That's the price of doing business, man. Like,
it is, and I saw somebody make a good comment here, which is, so it looks like $64.02 million four-year deal,
right.
$23 million in year one, which is a steep tag, $36 million in the first 2 years, so 23, and then 13 next year. Okay, so 23 this year, 13 next year. Front load all of that, and then on the back end of that contract, now you're a little bit cheaper. So let's say you get into a couple of years with this. So you got this off season, go through the season, next off season, put some more stuff in there, and then you come back in a couple more years when you maybe have really built up the defense and the offense, and you're ready. Now you're that team that's like, we're 1, maybe 2 players away, potentially. This kind of a contract structure allows you to then still go out there and have money to go and pay those, get those high-end guys.
What you did here, what you did with this Jesse Bates contract is exactly what I was talking about when I said it wouldn't be horrible to franchise McGarry. I wasn't talking about necessarily the player. I was talking about the money. This year, because you don't have a huge contract with a quarterback or a big-time wide receiver, this year and next year are the time to front load these contracts. And this also doesn't sound like a team that's going to go out and go after a guy like a Lamar or somebody like that. This sounds like this is their prize of the offseason. I think from here on out, you might see some smaller moves as far as I wouldn't be surprised if here soon you saw a re-signing of Rashaan Evans. at a cheaper price. I really hope that they can pull it off and get a another pass rush in, like somebody
Mhm.
to go along with Lorenzo Carter as a proven pass rusher. Not saying I don't want to draft a guy, I do want to draft a guy, but pass rushers take time to develop. And so,
Yep.
like bringing in a guy like a Yannick Ngakwe or something, somebody who is proven in this league, would be great. And so, yeah, I'm for the first time in a while, I'm stoked about the free agent period in Atlanta and what
Yeah.
this team is going to
Well,
look like.
and now, like, probably the most out of left field thing today was the Janu Smith thing.
Right.
And I said something about this on Twitter. I'm like, I'm salivating now thinking about three tight end set. You got Drake on one side, you got Pitts on the other side. You got Jonu Smith in line left or right. You got Michael Pruitt in line left or right, and then you got Patterson behind you.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
and
huge,
then you
dude.
got motion. You,
Like,
you
okay,
motion in Drake. You motion in. You
I,
do all kinds of motion. Nobody knows what's going on. You got too many linebackers on the field. Somebody's got to cover. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
my whole thing is with that one is that, like, just yesterday, and I'm not even all the way done with it yet. I'm about 45 plays in. I've been drawing up the plays of the last game against the Bucks. I've been drawing up the routes run, who went in motions, like players in motion, stuff like that. Now thinking about that same formations, that same style, but now with Pitts, Janu, and London, along with the last few games they split out Cordero more as a wide receiver than just having him in the
Hmm.
backfield. Like those kind of things are what make me really interested. And I think this year you're gonna finally start seeing the offense that Smith wants to run. Now it's like, how quickly can we get this defense up to speed? And
Yep.
bringing in a guy like Onyemata and a high quality guy like a Jesse Bates, the best safety in the league. Uh, it's huge, and you're going to get to hopefully see, the team, take a even bigger step. Uh,
Yeah, and that's I am so I honestly I thought we were probably it was going to be between us and maybe Cleveland
mm-hmm.
for Jesse Bates. I figure we may not know for sure until maybe tomorrow, but maybe not for like a few more days. Like even after the immediate start of actual free eight, like we're not like nobody, everybody's agreed to stuff
Oh
right
yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah. No, I
but
mean,
nobody's actually signed anything.
yeah, not until
But
Wednesday.
I mean, now the Jonu Smith thing, that's a
That's
trade,
a
totally
trade.
different
Yeah,
scenario.
that's a whole different
Yeah,
ballgame.
we got him,
Right.
Lindstrom, that extension, all the guys we extended or gave new contracts to, like Smith or what have you. Those are guys that and maybe the Smith thing we actually have to, and the Pinion thing we actually have to wait till Wednesday, but for the most part, those are locked in.
Right.
I would assume that Jesse Bates is locked in. Um, but and I'm gonna guess that from here on out, maybe they look for a cornerback if they want to get rid of Hayward,
Right.
to free up some more space and go get a different cornerback, or maybe they want to free up space and go get a wide receiver too. And then they go from there to like, okay, now we're gonna do Christian Gonzalez in the first round, or Jerry Porter
Joey
Jr.
Porter
or
or
Witherspoon,
Witherspoon, or yeah,
whoever.
whoever they like the most. Like this is the blueprint that Fontenot said when he got here. He feels need in free agency. That way he can do BPA in the draft. That way he's not pigeonholed and not backed into a corner, which makes it infuriating for me, but also exciting because there's so many different directions he can go, depending on how the next few days, unfold. Right now, it really is looking like either offensive lineman or corner would be my best guess as we sit here today.
Yeah. So Scott Karasick's talking about we still looks like depending on how things are structured, we may still be at around 34 million after the Bates
Oh
signing.
yeah,
Uh, so like we still got room to get some more guys in here. Like I said, I think you're going to try to go maybe Jacoby Myers would be a good thought on my end as far as like a wide receiver two. You're probably going to pay 10 to 12 million for him.
right. Shouldn't
Would be
be
my
too.
guess.
Yeah, I would imagine. Honestly, in the days to come, I would imagine an O lineman, maybe even mid tier, and then a wide receiver too. Maybe somebody like a Miko Hardman on a prove it deal, or Jacoby Myers, or what have you. The DJ Chark is still out there right now. The wide receiver market hasn't moved at all, so
No.
we're going to see how that unfolds. But I think that that's probably going to do it for us today. Definitely make
Yep.
sure y'all tune in tomorrow evening, 7 p.m., as we go live and to discuss all this with y'all in more detail, in more depth, and hopefully some more moves to talk about.
Yep. We'll see how it goes, and I would really like to see at least one offensive line
Yeah,
move, whether that's bringing back McGarry at a good price or maybe they bite the bullet on him. I don't know, but I would like to see offensive line um, at least one pickup there,
right.
but we'll see how that
Yep.
goes.
As always, Falcons fans, y'all can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Jonathan?
At Jonathan M. Holder, come say hi.
Yep. And hey, like I said, be here tomorrow night, 7 p.m., as we go live and continue talking about this. And as always, Falcons fans,
Absolutely.
rise up.
Rise up.